Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, Bears, and welcome to Rangers Radio. And tonight you've been joined by myself, GB, and we've been joined by the legend that is Bridgeman. Bridgeman, how are we doing?
Oh, doing well, thank you very much. And good evening to yourself, and a good evening to all the other panellists there, young Robert, and hopefully Portbear when he comes in. That, of course, the techie boys in the background. And I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio.
Very well put, Bridge. Yes, and very good evening to Robert as well. Robert, how are we doing, mate?
Evening, GB. Evening, Bridge. Good to be on yourselves. I'm good, pal. Looking forward to a show tonight.
We're getting into the swing of this young team now. We keep having late substitutions. We've got, last week it was AK, week before Ox was in amongst it, and young JM. We'll see you soon, lad. We'll see you soon.
An honorary membership for the Bridge tonight.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
I hope your stomach can handle it, Bridge, because it's hefty drinking in this panel tonight. Hefty drinking that goes on in this young team.
I couldn't live like that. No.
Right, boys.
You guys are too heavy for me.
Right, boys. Obviously, last night the gang touched on the game at the weekend, and obviously I'm eager to hear your thoughts on it as well. Robert, I think we'll start with yourself, buddy. A bit of a sticky game, and something that I don't know if it's a mindset of a Rangers fan now, but we seem to be expecting these kind of performances now. We went for the highs of Clement first coming in and getting his free-flowing football and all the rest of it, but then the next minute we're in amongst it's the sticky football, the slow play. For some reason, this has been hanging areas, I think, since Gio days. Robert, thoughts, mate?
It is, mate. It is that sticky period of the season where you can't afford any more slip-ups. We've had one too many, and we know that St Mirren can be quite a difficult place to go. Tight park, they make it quite a contest. Again, ultimately though, we got the 3 points, and at this stage in the season, mate, that's what we need. It is a bit kind of frustrating from a supporter's point of view that we are seeing performances become sticky after such a great start under Clement, where it was fast flowing, as you said, and there was the intensity, the aggression, and clinical kind of final third, whereas now it's about patience and trying to break down these lines. But again, it was a weekend for me where we were reliant too much on our player of the year, Jack Butland. Again, it's good to have a solid goalkeeper behind you, but getting used far too often in these games when it comes to the points that matter, mate.
100%. Bridge, the Robert touches on Butland. I mean, he gets these awards at the weekend there, and usually when a goalkeeper's getting awards, it's because of great saves and stuff like that. But I've never known a keeper to be so busy this season. You really want him quieter, you know what I mean?
We've got to remember that some of the saves he made were absolutely outstanding. So you may be talking about maybe anywhere between 10 and 20 saves that were absolutely first class and could be fit for any team, never mind the Rangers, it could have been England international team. Great saves, absolutely great saves, and necessary to make the save, and he's done that, and he's done it through it. So as far as I'm concerned, I think Butland has been absolutely outstanding all season. I think most Rangers fans would say the same thing. There are times when you wonder, he drops a clanger here and then. Who doesn't, But my goodness gracious, he thoroughly deserves whatever awards he got. And I think there was a couple of awards, did he? Player of the Year and Best Player of the Year or something like that. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Rangers players of it, sorry.
No.
Yeah, he's for me. Can I just congratulate him getting that? I think that's fantastic. Brilliant getting it. And I think the ladies team are now in the final of the Scottish Cup. Is that correct? Or was it a semi?
No, through the final, mate. Through the final.
So congratulations to them. And all the other winners in the Rangers shall we say, votings. I think well done to everybody, and I hope they had a great night. Hope they did.
I think we've got another substitution coming in tonight. We've got Port Bear. Are we there, Port? How are we getting on, mate?
We're here, mate. The late subs arrived.
Was that was a late fitness test, that one?
Aye. Somebody slide tackled through the door.
Aye, but we're just kind of catching up about the weekend's game. Robert, we're just starting to kind of delve into the first half, and just your thoughts, mate. Robert touched on about the Butland being a kind of mainstay in that first half for us, keeping us probably in the game, I think.
Aye, and as well as giving Jack Butland the praise that he deserves, mate, because some of his saves, 3 years out, point blank, reaction saves, they're the ones for me that, set the men for the boys, very Andy Gorham-esque. His reactions for such a big lad, his reactions like a cat. But I'm also going to give a special message to a guy that keeps getting vital goals in vital games, mate. Cyriel Dessers, the much maligned Cyriel Dessers, the guy that keeps getting slagged but keeps coming back. Like I said the other night on the show, a guy that doesn't let his head down, he plays a smile on his face and he keeps scoring important goals, mate.
No. Robert, just back to the first half, mate. Again, someone had their chances. We get the kind of own goal for the Bolton. To be honest, I think it was good play with Diamande, keeping it alive. I think JM touched on it last night. Like, he still had a bit of work to do to get that back across. And again, it was a mistake, wasn't it, that kind of gave us a goal. I know Dessers was up there kind of celebrating with the Sunburn boy, but I think, like I says, we were kind of pressuring them a wee bit at that point in time, and I felt after that we should have probably controlled the game a bit better, and I was a bit surprised that, like I says, St Mirren gets their goal so quickly after it.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Diamande has got a lot to do, especially from that angle. What I liked as well, I spoke about it in the show last week, was the variation of the corner. We took it short, changed the angle, rather than just putting it into the box, a long, kind of hopeful looking ball to the back post, given the targets we had. So it was good to see that. And obviously, as you say, Diamande puts the ball back across, and if the defender's not there, Dessers gets his goal. But again, as Port Bear says, he's in that position first and foremost to be there and get that chance if his defender's not there. And then obviously, was less than 5 minutes that they get the equaliser, which again is a bit of a shock to the system. It looked like we hadn't reset. We kind of took our concentration levels went away, and it was just a hopeful ball into the back post for them as well. Again, the two guys that we've got defending it was Balogun and Tavernier. Usually it's your Goldson's in Tavernier, but this time it was obviously Balogun in there. But it seemed to be a bit of a mix-up of who had the tall boy Mandaron that gets the goal. But that was the probably the annoying thing, that we didn't really maintain that lead for longer than we did, and we switched off, and that's what could cost us at this time of the season, mate. But thankfully it didn't.
Mm-hmm. Bridge, if ever there was somebody you didn't really want to make that mistake in that game, considering he's just came back into the team, and that was Big Balogun. And to be fair, throughout the full game, apart from that kind of one mistake, he was pretty solid again in defence for us. But it's just that way that we're itching to get a settled defence. We're itching to get a good partnership, and sod's law, it's Balogun there. The boy for St Mirren done well, but I think he just got caught out, and unfortunately Butland just can't get to that corner to pop it away. It's just a kind of reaction save, isn't it?
Personally, I think Balogun was unlucky because it was kind of caught under the ball. And the ball was just a wee bit too high for him. But Tavernier said he was on the back of the guy, Nudge him. Do whatever you need to do. Just put him off. Because it looked like a tremendous header the guy getting, You can't say too much. But I blame Tav. Tav was the last man on the line, and he was nowhere near when the ball went in the net. He was nowhere near, really. And he wasn't checking anything. He wasn't challenging anything. Nothing against Tavernier for that, but I think he's always getting caught out. Nearly always gets caught out at the back post. And it's a sin. Because the rest of his play is far better than what he does with the defence.
Anyway, we conceded the goal, and we go into half time. In Port, they kind of come out a wee bit more lively. I've noticed Campbell was a wee bit more fired up again going into the second half. Again, St Mirren kind of peppering us a wee bit, but I think overall, we were just craving for that second goal to kind of settle the nerves a bit, I think.
Aye, as I said, as you said earlier on, Jack Butland kept us in the game. GB, he kept us in the game to make sure, we remained in this title race, and I think that was great by big man. But what was annoying me through probably the whole game, mate, again, at times was a lack of creativity. We didn't have. You think about the chances that St Mirren squandered, and the amount of great saves that Butland made to keep us in the game. But yet again, sticking right out there is our lack of creativity at times. Again, just playing the ball too slow, almost at walking pace at times. But they seem to get a wee jolt in the arm, as you said, coming out after the first half. After the first half was finished, obviously the manager's words spurred them on a wee bit. Because like we know, we can't afford to drop many points. We have to win every game from now at the end of the season. That's what's most important. And as I said, I don't care how we win it, how we win the games. I just want to win them, GB, but I would like to win them a lot more comfortably.
Of course, aye. Well, Robert, on the comfortable side of it, if Lawrence puts his chance away, the game kind of finishes 3-1, and we're probably then looking at the game a wee bit differently, I think, because the scoreline looks a bit healthier. Whereas 2-1, you always think that must have been a close game. Whereas 3-1, I don't know, on paper it just looks as though there's been a controlled performance there, you mean? Whereas overall, we could say that St Mirren made a fist of it.
A dogged result, dogged 3 points, mate. The Lawrence chance, you've kind of got to give credit to the boy Gogic here. I know you named him last week as one of these players that would stick out for St Mirren. He done well to get back. Lawrence does everything right and puts the ball across the goalkeeper into the far corner. If it goes in, as you say, it is a bit of a safety net and a bit more comfortable. Improves the goal difference as well. But again, as Port Bear says there, it's the results that matter most. And as long as it's 3 points, whether that's the famous Bridgeman 1-0 or 4-0, it's 3 points in the day. As much as we need to eat into the goal difference, points matter most at the minute.
No. Bridge, I think we take the 2-1 result across the city, get the 2-1 result as well. Nothing really changes. I think it's still going to be quite a tight title race, isn't it? It's going to be very much up and down. It's going to be, unfortunately, I think, who breaks first. It's going to be these weekends. I mean, we're going into next weekend. We're trying to, like Robert says, pull back the goal difference and stuff like that. But it's nervy, isn't it? You can tell with the way the results went at the weekend.
Yeah, and the opposition teams know we're nervous, know that we need blah blah blah, and they're up for giving us a game. And I thought that during that game at the weekend, I thought the referee was absolutely shocking, possibly the worst performance for any referees. And I've watched that wee guy a number of times with us, and he's been not too bad. But God Almighty, he just didn't want to give Rangers any decisions at all, or as little as possible. And that's what it seemed like. And I thought, wow, they could take him away and send them back to referee school. I think the same with other referees. There's none of them any good to Rangers. None of them. Sorry, pal.
No, Bridge, you've actually. Not so much I forgot about the refereeing decision, but Port, the yellow card in Butland. I mean, Butland's played at the highest level, right? And you couldn't believe his face when he got that yellow card. Like, he could tell the shock in Butland's face getting that yellow card, knowing that he knows the game inside out. And then even Tavernier coming there now. As I was saying to Bridge earlier on, that some players will obviously argue the point era, probably a 50-50 decision or something like that. But see, when the players are standing for nearly a few minutes trying to explain to the referee the rule book, then you know that they are in the right, because it's just a shocking decision.
Hey, just don't forget the VAR was there as well. I don't think anybody chipped in. They almost have thought that our goalkeeper came out there and tanked that guy. I'm sorry, I see it completely different. That guy should never ever have been allowed to be near the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper was coming for a mid-high ball, you know. It wasn't head height, it was a high ball for the foot, and he was in mid-air when the guy hit him. You can't say the goalkeeper hit him. He hit the goalkeeper. So for me, that's it. It's simple. Sorry, boys, again.
That's exactly the way I looked at it, mate. I felt that boy was basically running through the goalkeeper and he collided with Jack Butland. Chris Boyd said it, mate. It was an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace decision. It just means, you know, it looked to me, big man hits wee man and wee man suffers. You know, he's brave enough to go through and a ball like that with a guy at 6'6". Fair play to him, but 50-50 ball to me, mate. Play on.
Aye, well, if anything, it was like you say, so it should have been Butland that got the
foul.
The foul, aye, sorry.
Aye, yeah.
That's what I was looking for. I was going to say the yellow card, but I'm saying I don't want him to get the yellow card.
Yeah.
No, aye, like he says, and even when Butland, like I say, turned away, I think Butland thought that was it, done and dusted. It was just maybe a bad decision. They were just got to play it as a foul. But then to pull it the yellow card, I think it was just adding insult to injury.
He's came mate, and cleared his lines. That's what we'd be expecting Jack Butland today. He's come to clear his lines. It's an absolute terrible decision, in my opinion, mate.
Yep, aye. Robert, you want to add to it, mate?
Just like what the boys thought, the decision is shocking, and there's nowhere that Butland can go. The boys run into him. It's a contact sport. If that happens anywhere else in the park, they're probably just going to get a play on, or it will be a foul against the opposition onto our player. So, shocking decision.
Right, well, thanks very much for that, boys. That's his.
Can I just say on that point, shocking decisions. This is just one of many decisions against the Rangers where our player is tackled or hit, and sometimes no decision at all. But if the referee thinks it's a Rangers player that done so, they want to book them. It's the way they're treating the Rangers and Rangers team. Shocking. It's absolutely shocking. The referees are just terrible with the Rangers. Terrible. Sorry, guys.
Well, the only good thing is, Bridge, if you keep an eye on the Premier League, the North and South, like I says, their referees are getting scrutinised. There's pressure on them now with their head of referee and having to come out and play audio and all the rest of it. So hopefully it will transpire that eventually gets up here, because, like I says, if the Premier League are doing it and like I says, folk are getting held accountable and stuff like that, then these guys are going to eventually, hopefully, be held accountable for their decisions and their performances and stuff like that. Whereas it stands now, they know that their head of referee's gone out the door at the end of the season, so there's nobody really tracking them. And once they get somebody hopefully proper in, then we might actually see some improvements. But hey ho, we never know. But I want to get the boys. Like I says, thanks very much for letting us be quick overview. Like I says, the gang last night went into it a wee bit more in depth, but it's good to kind of get your thoughts on it. And again, at the end of the day, it's 3 points, Robert, into it's 3 points and done, and we'll hopefully hear from Dessers in the next couple of minutes.
It is an important bit of touchdown earlier on. It's another vital goal, an important goal that Dessers gets that turns out to be the match winner. And he said it himself in an interview, which we hear, that he's obviously looking to kick on from this, and there's still more to come from him, which is pleasing for us to hear.
Aye, 100%, mate. Right, if you get yourselves on mute, we're going to hear from Dessers and hear his press conference.
So is that your biggest goal for Rangers so far? Do you think you had two big ones last week, but in terms of the league title, it's such a huge goal?
Yeah, no, I think so. No, I think as we are nearing the end, you feel the importance of every single game, and then I think it was important to start the playoffs with a win, and in those terms, yeah, it was an important goal. Yeah.
What did you make of the overall performance from the boys today?
I think it was not an easy game for us, but we knew that before we came here. Cimmerian is a good team, a solid team. They had a good game plan as well. They made it very difficult for us. Jack saved us a couple of times in first half, but I think we came through it. Second half, I think we were a little bit more aggressive. We won more the battles in the midfield, second balls, and then you have to be patient. And we knew that we know that we are really fit, that the moments would come, and we waited for that, and it came.
So that's 20 for the season now. I mean, you must be happy with that target so far.
Yeah, no, obviously, to score 20 goals it's a beautiful number. And I looked it up last week or somebody, and somebody told me, it's not a lot of Rangers strikers got to those numbers the last year. So I think that's a nice milestone for myself as well.
I remember speaking to you at the start of the season when things weren't going well for the whole team, and you said in terms of your own form, you're confident you would always get a number of goals. You've done it throughout your career. Does it feel like some of the criticism you've had, you've been able to sort of ram it back down the critics' throats? Does it feel like that?
I think that's up to you to answer, or to other people. But yeah, I said it before, and I was not just talking to talk at that point. I know, like throughout my career, if I play minutes, if I play games, I'm always gonna score goals. And I think I'm a striker, maybe for the eye, not the most beautiful striker or the most clean striker, but I think it's easy with me as a striker to see what's not there. But as I am in life, and I think it's a good lesson for everybody, I love to look at what's there and what you get out of me, and what I can do and give for the team. And yeah, if you look only at the goals, I think that the numbers speak for itself. But I'm not only talking about that. I'm talking about winning the battles with the defenders, about running. I think last week I broke my record for high intensity runs, for sprints. Yeah, to do all of this for the team. I think that's of the same importance as scoring goals, and these are the things maybe people in the stands or on social media don't see immediately, but they are there, and they benefit the team as well. So I think it's more than only the goals, but obviously I'm very happy to reach that number, but I want more than that.
Were those other things you had to work on this season, all the other attributes, and you worked hard on those things?
Oh no, not really. No, I this has been there for the last season. That's also the reason why Rangers bought me. They paid quite some money for me as well. It was there, and it was just to get them out of there. And I'm happy to score a goal now on an important moment. But obviously it's only the beginning of the playoffs, and it's an important statement. But yeah, we know there's still a lot of work to do and a lot more to come. But we're looking forward to that as well.
Do you feel there's more to come from you personally? You're saying, you big goals last week, big goal today, and even that, what you're saying, the most high intensity sprints. So you're clearly still improving in all aspects of your game.
Yeah, I think there's more to come for me. I don't think I got to my top form yet, the best I can be. So in that terms, I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be in the next month. Maybe it's gonna be next season. But I'm sure there's even more for me in it, and I'm hoping I can show it as soon as possible.
James Tavernier put in a great cross. He sometimes, because he's been here for so long, seems to be the guy who gets, he has to shoulder a lot of the criticism, but you see the cross that he put on for you today. How do you rate him?
It's not the first time that Tav gives a cross like this. He's done it a few times this season, a lot of times this season, a lot of times in his career. We know this is his quality. He can do this, and he can decide a game with one cross, and that's what he did today. And then as a striker, you have to make the good movement in the box and be there in the right moment to score the goal.
Hitting that 20 goal mark on a personal level also makes you confident and gives you a bit of belief just going in. How important is that, just going into these last 4 games?
Yeah, obviously it's a good feeling to reach that mark, but yeah, it's for me, it's all about the win. I would have been equally as happy if somebody else scored that goal, but yeah, just to get a result against a difficult team on a difficult pitch, it's not easy to come here. That should give us confidence, and this has to give us a boost just to keep going in these next 4 games in the league.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
That's it, Bears. The phone lines are open, so give us a wee phone, 0141 356 1972. Give us your thoughts on the weekend. Give us your thoughts on Big Dessers. Is he starting to change people's minds, or are we starting to realise what the boys trying to say in his interview, that he is what he is? He's a striker that's not going to be an Mbappe and all the rest of it. He is just got to be that guy that, as he says in his interview, the cleanest of strikers. Robert, I'll come to you first, mate. it's a great interview because he's a realist in it, and his attitude has always been a kind of positive one. I mean, I think most guys would have probably like this, he's caved in. You just need to look at Lammers. Lammers is straight at the door and he's away somewhere else. And granted, he's scoring, but again, never wanted to stick around and show his quality. And again, there's Dessers knuckled down, showed the new manager that he's probably got a place in the team. Current manager seems to rate him. I think the boy has frustrated me throughout the season, but I can't knock it that he scored 20 goals this season. Robert?
No, you can't shy away from that, mate. And everybody amongst the support loves a stat, and when you see a striker with 20 goals, then that's the first thing you look at. You don't really look at the chances it's taken to get there, right enough. And he could have a few more. Let's not kid ourselves on. It could be at least 5, 10 plus that. So credit to where he gets it, mate, because he came out fairly on in his career at Rangers and said that he could feel the fans giving the stick, he could hear it and getting on his back, but he didn't take that as a negative. He took it as I need to thrive off of that and push on, and they deserve better, and he knows he could do better. So you've got to give him credit that he didn't shy away. He's been consistent for us all season. He's never been injured. His work rate might not be the most physical in terms of pace or anything like that, but he's quite a tactical striker that will do the hard work off the ball, and he is in the positions to get the chances, mate. I looked earlier on some of the stats he's got, and although he said he wasn't the most eye-pleasing striker, he scored goals in important games for us, mate. Just to name a few, St Mirren 2-1 at the weekend gets the winner, 2 against Hearts in a semi-final, 2 against Ross County in a 3-1 home win, which, when you look at it, could have been a draw. 1-0 away to St Mirren again, a winner. And then the eye-pleasing bit that we've seen is Betis away. He's done that run down the left-hand side, chopped into the box, and put it away calmly and confidently of a striker that you would expect to be on 20 goals. So he does score goals when it does matter. Surprisingly for me, he's only had 25 shots off target in the Premier League. He's had 66 shots and 41 of them are on target. Unfortunately for him, the conversion rate's only about 20%, but it does show you that he is getting these chances. He just needs to improve on his finishing, which he said he can do better, and hopefully we'll see more of that come next season, mate.
Aye, Robert, brilliant, mate. And again, I think like you say, it's next season. This is a boy's first season, Port Bear, isn't it? It's asking a lot for a guy to come in and rip it up in the SPFL. I think, like I says, the question marks has came probably sometimes in the Old Firm games where he's been clean through and stuff like that, and could have maybe changed a couple of games. I think this is the Ross County game as well, isn't it? If he could have finished one of his chances there, it could have turned the game. But again, Port, it's not all in him. It's him that scored the 20 goals. Where's our wingers? Where's our midfielders with goals?
Exactly, mate. You know, Dessers' first season, 48 games, 19 goals, 8 assists. It's not bad. It's not bad reading in your first maiden season. You know, at times, mate, as well, the 6 seasons that Alfredo Morelos was here, he's never outscored Dessers already, mate. I mean, I think the most Buff got was either 18 or 19 this season. So he never even got to 20 in 6 seasons, Buffalo. And he was much, you know, he was the apple of our eye at times. He was very frustrating, and, you know, he gives a lot of, it would appear he down tools in a few games. But, you know, you don't see Cyriel Dessers, mate. He rolls his sleeves up. He gets stuck in. It always shows for the ball. We all talk about bravery. We all talk about people crunching into tackles and, you know, making goal line blocks and all that carry on. But if you look at Dessers, mate, he said to Burden, when Danilo went out injured, Fabio Silva came in, who was meant to take some of the burden off of Dessers. But he's not been scoring enough either, mate, like you're touching on. So it's been left up to Cyriel Dessers, mate, to be up front, central, take all the criticism which he gets, which is plenty, and still show up every week for training, every Saturday or Sunday in a game, and give it his all. And he's got 20 goals, and we've still got 5 games to go yet, mate. I take my hat off to the guy. He's frustrating. When you think about the chances against Celtic, but, you know, the night in Batiste in particular, when he gets that great goal against Batiste, and the one in the semi-final against Hearts for the chops on his other foot, on his weak foot, and scores it by Craig Gordon, mate. There's a player in there, as if he keeps working as hard as he is, you know, he'll maybe get a 25, 26 this season, mate. It's just looking that way. Every touch he's now, he's turned to gold.
Bridge, is it just that Big Dessers needs better run about him? I mean, I think they touched on in an interview there that Tav was the one that hit the cross in, and Tav has been one of the ones that's been able to feed him and get balls into the box for him to put away. But if you think about it, you look at our wingers and stuff like that, probably McCausland kind of jumps out at me a wee bit. But apart from that, Todd Cantwell, I'll give him his due, has tried to link better with him. But again, Cantwell's been in and out of the squad with injury. Big Dessers has been there all season, injury free. And I think what it says, once he gets maybe settled players, bit of talent about him, Bridge, I think we actually might start to see more for him than what we're seeing now.
I think hats off to Dessers getting the goals and the number of goals for the season so far is excellent. I don't think we can complain about the goals scored. What we can complain about is the amount of misses, you know, the amount of great chances he had, and for some reason or other he's failed to actually get it past the goalkeeper or past the defender, and unfortunately whenever it does get past the goalkeeper it goes past the post. These kind of things. He's very unfortunate that way. But there's something about Dessers that from a scoring perspective, when he scores goals, it's great, lovely big smile on his face and so on. But he seems to get bullied a lot, and I never expected anyone of his size to get bullied. And that boy Gogic, was it Gogic that played centre half for it? He had him in his back pocket most of the game. However, he got the last laugh, he scored the goal, got the winning goal, so that was good for him. But shall we say, it's that Gogic and a few, shall we say, tough tackles on him and others, and got away with it all. And he was smiling the whole game, that Gogic, apart from when we scored the second goal. He was smiling because the referee was in love with him, as far as I'm concerned. He saw what he was doing, he was up and down the park. He made that lovely stop from, I can't remember who they scored that they kicked off the line.
Lawrence.
I can never remember that boy's name. And how can I not do that? John Lawrence is a big, our best chairman forever. Anyway, so I'm not going to digress too much. I think I like Dessers. I like what he's doing scoring-wise. But my goodness, it frustrates the life out of the fans. But when he does score and he's got a great big grin on his face, he's a different player altogether.
I agree. And a good point, Bridge. I'll take it to Robert. Robert, the point on Dessers, he's always pleading with the ref all the time when he gets pushed down in the box and fouls and stuff like that. I see him sometimes moaning and horns up in the air and stuff like that. I think that's just the kind of first season syndrome, isn't it? He's not really grasped how our league works yet. And I think with a season under his belt, I think next season you might see a different animal.
If you don't ask for it, you don't get it. So he's entitled to ask for it, but as you say, I think it is just getting used to the way the officials are up here. And to be fair to him, he's probably seen decisions be made by officials that he thinks, hold on a minute, you've gave one before, I'll try my luck again. If you get it, you get it. You don't, you don't. So I think it's just about adapting to the officiating. But he is quite a strong looking guy as well, and I think he obviously wants to work on his physicality. You know he's not got the pace as well, but that's probably something he'll work on over time. I know he came to the club late on in pre-season, but as I said earlier, he's always been a source that you can go to in terms of not injured. And we know the injury record we've had over the season and beyond. So to have your striker fit and available for almost every game this season has been quite remarkable. And he's got 20 goals, which again we can't shy away from. And he's not wanting to stop there, which is good. He wants to kick on and improve, and he'll know himself that he can improve. And with these games coming up, as Bridge said, as long as he can continue to make an impact in these games between now and the season, he'll have got a lot of confidence, and I think he will win the fans over. He gets the song, he gets the belief again amongst the fans, and usually once that happens, you're liked within the club. And again, as long as he's doing it for us in these important games, he'll be our number one striker until somebody comes in to push him. Portbear touched in Silva. He's not done that, so somebody that needs to come in and either push Dessers or Dessers is the number one striker until we see anybody moving in the summer.
And I'm glad you brought that up about the striker in the summer. As it stands now, if you look at it, Dessers is at a decent age. Then we've got Danilo, kind of mid-20s, and then we've got Roof gone out the door. So this next striker, I can imagine that the manager's probably got to be looking at a kind of Diamande age group for the next striker coming in, so that we've got a kind of an even balance. I'd be very surprised if he brings in somebody kind of Dessers' age. I think the way they've been talking about this whole transfer market and even the way our kind of budget as well, I think we'll be probably looking at a young striker coming in, and what I say is there'll be a kind of rotation between the three.
I think that's what we need to see, mate. I think Dessers should be seen, in my opinion anyway, should be seen as like the senior striker for next season. As you said, they're about that Diamande age group where we can bring them in, develop them, and one of the four pillars is this trading model that we've all spoken about on this show several times, mate. And I think that's what we need to get bang on, correct, as soon as possible. So bringing in a striker to develop in a couple of years or even a season, if it takes it, if it comes in, hits a ground running and scores plenty of goals and the suitors are straight after him, then that's the way it's got to be at our club, guy. I think we just got to accept that we are a selling club now. We're trying to build a club, we're trying to build a team, but there's a price on every one of your players, mate, that if they meet that price and they meet the demand of the eyes watching them, they will be going, mate. But I do agree, I think we should be looking really about that Diamande group, because for the season ahead and the signing of Cortez, when they made him the signing and they brought in Diamande, Cortez, he was looking to me, mate, was a shining light. I was excited when I seen him. I thought he was very direct, pacey. Again, I think we need to add pace. I think that should be one of the other priorities we striker must have this year, is pace to get in behind. But definitely a younger age, mate, fit, strong and quick. I think we need to add lightning to that forward line, mate, because I think that's one thing we've lacked over a few seasons. That an ability to play the ball in behind and look for that striker who plays on the shoulder. If that makes sense, mate.
Oh, aye, it does, mate. And before I move on to Bridge and Robert, just that as it stands now, just putting it out there, is Dessers a keep for next season for you?
Aye, 100%, mate. I think he scored enough this season to suggest, otherwise. I think it would be, unless there's a fee coming in, Gary, that we can't refuse. But other than that, I think he gets to stay.
Man, Bridgeman, same question to you. As it stands now with Dessers, with all his frustrations that we've had against him, and like I say, now that the goal scored, and to be honest, in his interview there, he's came in and he explained that he is what he is. He's not got to change. He's not got to be turning into any Mbappe's anytime soon or anything like that. Is he a keep for you?
Well, if he doesn't want to go, then he'll keep, isn't he? But sadly, and I mean this in all honesty, if somebody come in and offer the money, and we got our money back on him to a certain extent, then most assuredly they'll let him go. But we have to invest whatever monies we get. We have to invest. And as Sport Bear says, and you can all say it yourselves, we desperately need pace in our team. We need from the defence all the way through. Anybody we bring in, everybody we bring in, must be tall and we must have pace. I mean this sincerely, tall and pace. So you look at some of these players that we played against when it's at Mimner, they were miles above our players, and most of them anyway. And you see a young boy, McCausland there, and I don't know what height he is. My goodness gracious, when he's standing against their centre half, it's lucky to kill up his Ulster, and that's no taking in away from the boy. He's quite quick, quite tricky, and he's a nice young lad and plays well sometimes. But for the league and what we expect in the league and what we expect anywhere else, obviously I don't want to bring anybody in that can't play football. They must be able to play football and to play it well. But I'd rather have big fellas. And don't forget the defenders. Please get us a centre half. Please. That for the fourth or fifth year I've been pleading for it. A giant and a big hard guy. Simple as that. And he'll let people know who he is. That's what you want. Sorry.
No, and Bridge, keep that, because we'll come back to it later in the show. It's a bit I want to bring up, especially I think Tav had a wee interview at the Player of the Year thing. So it'll be actually a wee subject we're going to touch on about this whole what we're needing, and like I says, maybe Tav's new kind of put a bit of a nail in the coffin of Sterling never getting into that right sidey position. But anyway, we'll come back to that later. Robert, you got a wee bit to add, I think, mate, to the kind of Dessers thing. I can see, mate.
Yeah, mate. Just when we're talking about obviously his first season there, I've done a quick kind of check on other strikers that we've had at the club. Morelos, Defoe, and Jelavic. So in their first seasons, Morelos got 18 goals in 43 games. Defoe got 8 goals in 20 games, but he was probably used more as an impact substitute, just given his age, and Morelos was in front of him. Jelavic got 19 goals in 28 appearances in his first season, and obviously Big Cyriel, we know, he's got 20 goals in 49 appearances. So he's outscored them in a single season. I know there's more games played there, and there's certainly been more chances created, you'd imagine, but it does show you that for the stick he does get, he is delivering, and that's all we can ask for a striker. So come back to your question about for next season. For me, you certainly stay. Danilo we've not seen enough of, unfortunately, because of his injuries. So he'll be almost a new signing next season when he comes back. Hopefully we'll see him before the end of this season. I see he's back on the grass training as well, so that's pleasing. But until we see what Danilo can add, then you obviously need to keep Dessers, because he's the man that knows where the net is, knows the league, knows how to play it, and he's not finished yet.
No, it's no. We've still got, like I say, still got a few games to play and big pivotal moments for him. I just think Port that the big man needs some help running about him. There's no doubt in the boy can finish. Some of the goals he scored against Hearts there a week ago. He's finishing on his left, dummying the guy and all that. I mean, the boy has got a bit of skill about him. I think what Hawk have said about him is that he scores the harder chances and the easier ones he balloons. I mean, I think sometimes it could just be confidence with him.
I think what it's doing. I think if he's got time to think about it, he seems to fluff his lines. I think he's more an instinctive striker. If it's happening and he's in between the goal posts and he's just reacting, that's where I see he seems to be. And it's weird, cool under pressure. When it's just breaking to him or it's been put into him, bang, he reacts. But when he's got time and he's through and goal, or he just seems to overthink things, and before you know it, he's falling over his feet, or he's put into the keeper's arms. But the stats that Robert just gave, he's kept himself in good company there, mate. 20 goals in his maiden season so far. For a guy that, as I said, is much maligned, come under severe criticism for the stands and the press, and he knows it was happening because the songs were very different to the song that's happening now. And if we go on and we win this league, Gary, how influential is Dessers going to look when we lift 56 trophy? Because he's been a huge part of it. And like I says, when the burden's been fully on him to create the goals, because like you says, midfield and the wingers aren't chipping in with the goals that we need to give him a hand. Sima did. Sima had, what, 15, I think, before he got injured, and that's him probably out for the rest of the season. So, again, further pressure on Dessers for us to, rely on our 20-goal striker to keep banging them in, because they're another one that's, as I say, is going to be out for the season, Sima, who, as I said, 15 goals, and we've lost that goal threat. Matondo as well. Matondo's goal threat, I think he's injured as well. Not sure how serious it is, but I think they're saying he's out for a couple of games anyway. So the burden is severely on the big fella, mate.
Mm-hmm. Do you know something? Just to finish it after kind of Dessers chat, that his mentality and his availability is worth its weight in gold in our squad now. I mean, it's one of the things that we can't find a player that can't get injured or whatever, or down tools, or can't handle the jersey. And to be fair to Dessers, he's came back week after week, and I think, Paul, you've touched on it, that he said about Silva coming in and stuff like that. And Silva did get his chance in the middle, and it was a kind of rotation thing going on for a bit.
Yeah.
Big man seen Silva away, and Silva ended up having to play out in the left to get game time and stuff like that. So for me, he's a keep, but it'll be interesting to see again what happens in the summer. But for me, I think the age kind of thing that's set up now with the strikers, you've got Dessers at a good age, Danilo at still a sellable age, and then I think this is the manager might look at a kind of a Diamandi kind of signing for another striker in the summer.
Aye, I agree, mate. I agree totally. I think his Clement's rebuild for next year, mate, will be interesting to watch because, like, whether like it or not, this is still not his team. So I know he's come to be a bit of criticism over the last couple of weeks in regard to squad selection, etc. And some of the interviews that he had. You know, I don't know if I'm not saying people were doubting him, but people were finding it very strange with some of the interviews that he'd given. But let's not forget, this is not his team yet, mate.
Mm-hmm. No. Right, I'm going to. We've got James Tavernier's wee snippet interview. I think a lot of people have been questioning the way the results have been with Goldson and Tav and all that. That it's probably a good time for them to move on. But I think Tav has kind of came out and quashed some of the rumours in this interview. So we're going to hear from James Tavernier now.
Well, it's definitely not the first time there's been speculation that Saudi Arabia has been brought up. I think it's been past year that it's been flying around, and obviously reading what's been said lately, I think Connor's been tagged on the list with that. But you know, it's football. There's always going to be speculation, and I'm contracted to Rangers for another 2 seasons after this, and you know, I'm fully focused of what I have to do this season, and then concentrate on what's to come next season. And you know, I think the gaffers came out and said that I'm a big part of his plans, and you know, it's obviously nice when you know that you're a big part of the plan. So yeah, my full focus is on the Rangers. I'm contracted to Rangers, so yeah.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
That's it, Bears. Give us a wee phone. That's his couple of interesting talking points tonight about the squad, and this is Dessers. This is a tide turning on the man. Robert, back to yourself. Tav there. He kind of quashed a bit of the rumours. It's not to say that this is a Saudi Arabia thing will not go away. There's they players no sellable. But when the manager's coming out and saying he's a big part of the plans, and I think next year's the potentially a testimonial. I think now we could probably say about 80% that Tav's got to be there next season as part of that right-sided midfield.
I'd agree. The rumours about a move have been there for a number of years now. Obviously, the link to Saudis with Gerrard and a reunion there, but I think he does quash it by saying that a big part of the plans. I don't think that's something you would come out and say had it not been said confidently between you and the manager, not been agreed that you will be here next season. Whatever happens beyond then is a different story. They'll ask you your contract, obviously. So the testimonial year for him will be special to him, special to his family, and I think for us as supporters, although he is a player and as captain, he does get a lot of stick and criticism. You can't take away what he's put towards our club in terms of his goals, his assists, his accolades he's won on a personal level. It is a shame that he's not won more domestically, but this season, if he can go and get a treble, then a captain of Rangers who has won Player of the Year, top goal scorer, got to a European final, won a Scottish Cup, won a League Cup, won the league twice, won a treble, that's an achievement to take away, and obviously becoming the all-time British record goal-scoring defender. There's a lot of things there that Tavernier's done, and he's done it at our club, so there's always going to be that association. So it'll be nice to see him stick around. I think he'll probably see out his contract here at the club. I don't see him being sold any point between now and his contract expiring.
I agree. I think you might see it now. I think this is the kind of the next 2 years, and it depends on form, I suppose. You mean stranger things have happened with managers as well, but the manager's, like I say, saying that he's a big part of the plans. Like I said, you're running a testimonial year next year and stuff like that. It seems his position's pretty well cemented, Bridge. I think where you might get your wish, Bridge, and with the way the situation is going with Goldson now, is I think you might find that there'll be another defender coming in, especially, like, say, Davies in the background there, not getting in a game. Balogun's out of contract. He might get a year's extension, and we've got Suter, who's still a bit shaky at the back and all. I think you might find that Golson's got another 2, I think, as well. I think that you might find there's another defender on the radar.
I hope so. I think for Rangers, I hope he does. I hope he does anyway. You mentioned Davies, and I'm afraid I quite like Davies. I thought he looked no bad when he was on the ball. But I'm afraid that he's been caught out a couple of times and injured and so on and so forth. So he's never really recovered to the point where he's going to be a number 1 pick in our team. And if you can't even get a better job as a number 1 pick in the Rangers defence as it is at the moment, then there's not much hope for you, because our defence is minging. And everybody knows it and everybody sees it. The way they're playing the last couple of games there, dreadful stuff, just dreadful. Their midfield isn't that much better. But my goodness gracious, their story about Tavernier and Connor Goldson potentially going away at the end of the season. I don't know when it started, but it looked like Goldson and Tavernier seemed to have a form drop round about the same time. And I'm quite sure the story broke, let's say 6 weeks ago. I don't know how long it'd be. I think it started to impact their game. It might only been 4 weeks or 2 weeks ago, all I know. My goodness gracious, something's happened to cause them to be as poor as they've been. Their head's not in the game. There's no on it. That's what I see anyway. I don't know if anybody else sees that. Maybe Portbear sometimes very similar to myself when it comes to criticising our own players. And I don't mean it just to criticise for the sake of criticism. They have not been good. Admittedly, Tav, when he's up, he managed to get forward a wee bit. He can still put a nice cross in. He still takes a nice free kick, and he still takes nice corners and penalties. So he still gets something to give. But if Goldson can break up to the front and ping across some diagonal balls, then his defending is atrocious when he's in the defence. Of late, you know. And I like him. I think I think overall he's their best defender. But my goodness gracious, he's letting himself down badly.
Tavernier, the interview and stuff like that, he seems to be, he's quite happy to be about, and as long as the manager's happy and stuff like that, and the manager's clearly made it clear that he has a big part of the plan. Do you think the manager's got to be brave there, in the sense that he's going to have to probably bring in somebody solid next to Tav? Because I think there's been a better balance to the defence, not having two of these so-called senior leaders next to each other, because I think sometimes the two of them are trying to lead, and they've probably they affect each other. Whereas when it's just Balogun, like, as much as Balogun's kind of a guy running about the dressing room, it's good for the young players and all the rest of it, I think Tav's not scared to kind of shout at Balogun, and I think vice versa, if you know what I mean. Whereas I think when it's Goldson and Tav, I think the two of them are quite close, and it seems to be that the two of them end up getting themselves mixed up. So I think it might be that for the benefit of Tav, that we see somebody in there next to, I don't know, a Suter or a new left back, and it's a Suter that's in the right side. Port.
It's not the first time, let's be honest, it's not the first time I've seen Tav and Goldson having a proper go at each other, particularly this season and last season, when Bill was still in charge. Maybe there's something in that, mate, that the two of them are a vice captain and a captain playing right beside each other, and when they do make mistakes with each other, we know what it's like. One blames the other, another blames the other one, because it's most of the time we do get pounded down our right hand side, whether we like to admit it or not, but we do get targeted down that side, where it's been Tav been too far forward, or they know they play that ball in behind Goldson because he's lack of pace. I totally understand it, but I know why teams target that side. I would like to see another centre half come in. I think I've said it before. I said it last week on the show when I was on. I do think it's time for we can still get money for them. I would, if it's a serious bid, I would take money for both of them, mate. If there was serious money on the table for both of them, I would seriously consider it. Because I think it's getting to the time where we should be starting to think about a replacement for Tav. I think it's definitely time to be thinking about it. Definitely thinking about time for Goldson, because I think, I'm not saying his legs are gone, mate, but he wasn't quick in the first place. But I think he's lost another yard, in my opinion, Goldson. And I think, regardless of what the manager says, he's came out the team for, to let him rest, because he's played a lot of games. I think there's a lot more in it than that, mate. I think he's seriously considering, like Bridgman touched on, cashing in on Goldson at least this season.
Aye, if any, like you says, if any of the transfer rumours are true, Robert, I think the manager would be very brave to go with a Tav and Goldson again next season. I would say Tav would probably get the nod before Goldson, but I think if it's Tav and Goldson again next season, he's kind of putting a target on his back, because unfortunately these boys, they do have these moments that we need them to get out of the line. And I think, as Port says, I think it's time. It's time to put somebody fresh, maybe somebody for another league to come in and just, I don't know, show their quality. I think sometimes, like Goldson, he thinks it's too easy sometimes with the looks of him. Like, see where he's that kind of, he thinks he can just spray the ball about, and the next minute he's getting caught with a boy at the tap, or he's getting caught with a guy who's just sprinting past him. I think this is Goldson's kind of fell into a false sense of security, I think, at Rangers.
If you look at the back line, mate, from the weekend, you've got Tavernier, you've got Goldson, you've got, sorry, not the weekend, but the usual back four. You've got Tavernier, Goldson and Barisic. That's 3 of your 4 that were here during the 55 season. So there gets a point in time where you've been here a few seasons, and as you say, it becomes a bit comfortable. You're not going to lose your position. There's nobody kind of vying for that area. It's not an area we've brought players in. Obviously, we brought DBs in, but again, he's had injury issues. We've got young Leon King. It doesn't seem to be getting a look in these days. So it becomes a bit stale. And that's when, Port Bear says that about kind of shaking hands and moving players on. We have to do it at the right time. We've been our own worst enemy at times of holding players on for too long and losing out money. But the flip side is we need to be smart, and when we accept a bid, Port Bear touches on it in serious money. To us, what is serious money? I'll ask Port Bear his answer on that one, but what's serious money when it comes to a club? Because we could end up playing hardball and rejecting bids rather than accepting something and building, and before you know it, you're then left with a player who then leaves for nothing a year or two down the line. So we need to be smart at this player trading model, the age, the amount of money we bring them in for and sell them. These 2 players they've done Rangers over a number of years. They've got 2 years left in their contract. I personally don't think any will be sold. I'll be honest, but I'm just wondering what Port Bear sees as serious money, especially from the Saudi League, because they could fling anything at us.
Ford, do you want to come in quickly on that one just before the tune, mate?
I think serious money, Robert, in regards to both of them. I think the Saudis will try and play hardball, if I'm totally honest. I don't think they'll have massive offers on the table. I think it'll be something like, maybe 3 million for Goldson and maybe 4 for Tav. And you got to think that to me, that's decent money for Goldson on current form and where he's at in his career. 31 years of age, we've probably the best out of what we can. So if we can get that for him, I would take that. Tav, on the other hand, I'm more likely to stick with Tav, because I do want somebody brought in to push him. I do want somebody that comes in to, really push him, because I don't think he should be guaranteed a spot. But what we'll miss with Tav, and we'll miss him when he's gone, guys, just remember I said this, his goals and assists through his time at Rangers, Britain's highest goal scoring defender. We will miss that when it's gone, and we probably won't appreciate it until it's gone. But I think there should be somebody to be brought in that's going to push Tav. I think we've got a guy there, in Stirling, but a lot of boys on the show and people listening would like to see him midfield, and I get that because he's an absolute powerhouse, and Dijon Stirling. But I don't think serious money, but the big money, Robert, I don't think that'll be on the table. I think they'll come in with small offers, in my opinion.
Well said, mate. And lads, like I says, we'll continue this chat after the tune. So if you want to get yourselves on mute, we're going to have a tune.
As we go marching down the Paisley Road west, the doors and the windows open wide, you will hear the people cheer, the Glasgow Rangers boys are here. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, Glasgow Rangers is our name. For we are the best team in all Scotland, and Glasgow Rangers is our name. So bring on the Celtic, your Hibs and Aberdeen, your Dundee United, we're the best you've ever seen. We play hand on heart, God save the Queen. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. As we go marching down the Paisley Road west, the doors and the windows open wide, you will hear the people cheer, the Glasgow Rangers boys are here. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, Glasgow Rangers is our name. For we are the best team in all Scotland, and Glasgow Rangers is our name. So bring on the Celtic, your Hibs and Aberdeen, your Dundee United, we're the best you've ever seen. We play hand on heart, God save the Queen. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. It's Glasgow Rangers for me.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right, Joe. Thanks very much for that, Fox. We all back? Yes, no?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, mate, I'm here.
Good stuff. To carry on the kind of chat about the kind of squad, the boys it's here on loan. I think we've touched on it. We'd love to have Seema back, Cortez possibly, but like I say, I think we've seen tonight. There's some rumours going about that Silva's definitely not coming back. But boys, I'm just want to get your kind of opinion on it. I'll come to you first, Robert. See Seema, he's been kind of injury prone. I don't really want to be going into another season that we've maybe even bought him on a permanent transfer, or it's another loan and we're limping by with more injuries after injuries. I think he's young enough to probably not have that, but I just don't think we can take the risk. Probably the same way with Cortez. It's quite a serious injury he's got. It's only an option to buy as it stands now. I think we should maybe be looking, I don't know, just looking down the transfer alley again before we make a kind of final decision on that one. And then there's young Matondo, injured again, been played with injury since he's came to Rangers as well. He's got to be another one that, again, we just have to try and manage out the door, I think. Your thoughts, Robert?
It'll certainly be an interesting transfer window. I agree with Port. It'll be interesting to see how Clement deals with the squad in terms of who stays and who goes, whether it be loans or permanent moves, but also as much as it is to see them go out, it's who he brings in, what kind of market he goes for. The players you mentioned there, Matondo, he's not really had a great crack at the whip, so we say. He obviously gets a good goal against Celtic, voted goal of the season at the weekend, rightly so. He's shown glimpses, but again, it's that consistency we've not seen. Cortez, from what I saw, looked good. Looked like kind of normal modern day winger, gets the ball, likes to drive at the players, a bit of skill about him, a bit of flair. Again, a horrible injury in a plastic pitch. Sima, I would love to have Sima back. I know obviously his injuries are there, but I think the fact that the guy came in, took a bit of stick at the start of his career here, but he's chipped in 16 goals. You've seen how we can adapt in terms of defensive work as well on that left-hand side. More recently, the right-hand side when he came back from injury. So I think that's a player that we could maybe look at, if I'm being honest. I said again, my personal opinion is the fact that he didn't return to Brighton after the first injury. He stayed here. I don't know if maybe we've spoke to Brighton and done some sort of negotiation already that we'll look after him up here for maybe a cut price in the summer. He seems quite happy to be here. He's contributed well. He's settled in. So I'm hoping that we can maybe get somebody like Sima to stay. And if it is him, ideal. Cortez, I'd like to see again as well, even if it is another loan, just to get a further look at him properly.
Well said, mate. So it's got to be a tricky one. Bridge, just your thoughts on kind of the boys that are here on loan and are kind of injury ravaged players. For me, I'm wary. Sima, fantastic player, but I'm wary of, let's say, permanent transfers on these kind of boys because we've been burned too many times, and I just think that next season, no matter what happens this season, next season's got to be a big one. We've got to win the title, I think, next season, because we can't keep spending the way we're spending. Wages are getting higher. I mean, we really need to start, like I say, dominating the league again. Bridge, your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, we've got to start winning games, and the sooner the better, and get some consistency out of our play. And the players that we've got, some of them, as you mentioned earlier, some of them sound as if they're injury prone. Getting that way, and it's sad when you see a young lad like Tondo being injured, and we don't know whether he's prolonging it, is he causing it, or you just don't know, because he's got a lot of skills, a lot of pace, and as we've seen, they score some nice goals. But these are the players that we were looking for. I'm afraid that going into the next season with players that have been injured most of this season is not the way you want to go in. Surely, we've obviously got to do something. We can't magic up players. We've got to go into the marketplace and buy them or bring them through. If there's any if you've got a youth team, or area of youth team, to bring them straight in and let them get them blooded. You get sort of pre-season training, see how they do it. I know I'm talking a lot of rubbish sometimes, and we talk about these things, but seriously, I don't know where we're going to get the money from. If we're fortunate enough to actually win the league, then I could see where we're going to get the money from. But if we don't win the league, we ain't going to get the money that could actually take us forward. And I believe we got another contract signing for a new contract signing with Castor for next season, and I think that's the last season, and so that's a few quid as well, So every penny's going to count. Every single penny's going to count. But look at the money that we were putting out and not paying a lot of wages for players that are injured, and top earners too, top earners. So I don't know how much we're paying Sima. I don't know how much we're paying Matondo, how much we're paying Jack, and so on and so forth. Danilo, I think, is the most unlucky player that's came to Ibrox in many a long year. He's been put out the park, put out the game by shall we say criminal activity on the pitch, as far as I'm concerned. But that's the way I feel. I look at what's happening. Ruth, well, you must be honest. Apart from one season where he scored some absolutely brilliant goals, which were great to see, I don't think he's done very much. And when he leaves at the end of the season, I'm sure he'll be happy to get away to Ibrox. If not need the money, but I think he'll still be happy to get away.
Mm-hmm. Aye, you're right, Bridge. Port, your thoughts, mate? As Ox always says, like, boys sitting on contracts, it's hard to get them out the door. But I'm looking at kind of the loans now, and overall, I agree. Seema's a fantastic player, would I love to sign him? If he was fit, yes. I mean, if he's got to stay fit, but we've not got a crystal ball for that. And it's the same with Cortez. The boy looked lively, but I just think of these injuries that they keep coming back for, and even Bridge touches on Danilo. I mean, he's coming back for a serious injury as well. We've got Hadji coming back for a serious injury. I mean, these boys, we just can't keep patching up squads. We need a solid squad, because I think Port, being honest, I think that's been a bit of a hindrance. I think that's why we're kind of seeing what we're seeing now with these kind of lacklustre performances. We're just got no cohesion up front all the time, and that's why I don't think we're getting a lot of the chances or goals, as Hawks has been saying.
Well, when you look at what we're missing arguably Danilo went through a patch when he was my number one striker, mate, injured. So again, like I touched on the first half of the show, Dessers has to take the burden on. Then we miss another forward player, Cortez, who scored a few goals, started to look very positive, very direct, a lot of pace. So we're thinking, right, good, this is good. Seamer's already scored his 15, 16 goals, so he's already done his bit for the season. But it just seems to be like, we're looking at our squad, mate, and I get where you're coming from in regards to, some of the guys look like they're made of chocolate, don't they? They just one wee injury, one knock, one, bump in the pitch, and they're down and they're out for weeks, and you're like, what the hell's happening? I mean, Ridvan comes into that as well, doesn't he? You look at Ridvan, there'll be suitors for him in the summer again for Turkey. I'll guarantee you that, right? Because I'd be patchy hot when I was begging for him to get a chance, and he was back in the squad. He was playing very well, and then he's with the Turkey squad. And Clement told us he'd be back in a few weeks, and that few weeks has been and gone and well on, and we still don't know what's up with the wee man. Again, frustrating, because you're getting players of real quality. We've got them there, we know they're there, but they're on the the medical table far too much during the season, so we're not getting value for money. And it's an absolute fact, Gary, when you lose quality like that out your squad, it's going to eventually tell on the pitch. And I think that's what we're seeing now. We're relying on a team that's been patched up. I believe some of the players that are playing are carrying me niggles, but you get some players in life, mate, that will patch themselves up, bandage, injection, painkillers. I don't think injection is a thing of the past, just to get themselves onto the pitch, because they'll run through big woes and they'll do anything for that shot on their back. But the modern day player isn't like that. They get a niggle, a hamstring, a stretch, a wee pull, and they're out for weeks. It's strange. They're not made the way they used to be made, mate. Tav, in particular, Goldson, and Big Dessers are rare in football now. These guys that will play 40, 50, 60 games a season, and just keep going and keep going and keep going. The injuries at Rangers, mate, have been devastating for this season in particular. And I have to agree with you. I want to see Seamer back in particular, because I do think he's robust. I think he's been very unlucky with injuries. I don't think that the Rangers forward line gets a lot of protection after referees and all, and they get some challenges made on them that, as Bridgeman touched on, are brutal at times. So I don't think that helps. But another season in the Premier League, mate, learn how they play. The rough and tumble of the Premier League, what it brings. These guys have another year wiser for it. So you like to think, instead of, the times when you're getting challenged, ride the challenge, lift your legs, don't so much plant your leg, because you will get rolled and you'll get these ankle rolls and twists and turns. So I'm thinking and I'm hoping another year in the Premier League, with a bit better experience, they'll understand how they have to change their game slightly to play a new league, mate. And I think these guys will help Rangers next season if we can bring them in.
Well said, mate. Well said. Robert, Port's touched on the injuries, and we could probably chuck in Lawrence and Dowell in amongst that as well. Should we really be surprised at kind of some of the performances that we see with this squad, since we're so erratic with injuries, different personnel up front, try to put guys? I mean, even young McCausland, he gets a bit of stick, but we've found out that McCausland isn't a right winger. I mean, he's more a number 10. So again, we're just trying to do the patchwork quilt of it in this squad, and for me now, it's getting to the point where I'm actually not that surprised when we're kind of going out and we're scraping results, because we're so disjointed a lot of the time.
It is, Paul, when that comes down to, again, obviously the injuries as much as the players' match fitness, their condition of how they return after injury, if they're ready to go, or again, as you said, if they're having to fill a void in a position that they're not used to. I mean, Sterling came in midfield, a bit of an eyebrow raiser for us that he went in there and he's not looked out of place. you've got McCausland, as you say, playing out on the right. He's not a winger, but he's done a job. But again, we need consistency. We need the cohesion that you and Portman have mentioned. We need that kind of solid starting 11 as much as a good solid bench that we can bring players on. The quality doesn't drop. There's chemistry, there's cohesion, there's a balance. But when players are picking up injuries left, right and centre, you've got people who are 70, 80% fit playing, guys coming back, getting a wee 15, 20 minutes cameo. At this stage of the season, you're asking a lot of them to put their bodies through that. And I know they've got training programmes to stick to in the club, the personal things that Clement touched on when they first came in. I think there'll be a big difference next season under Clement with a pre-season. He obviously came in after the pre-season when Beale left. So for me, I think there'll be a big change in how we handle pre-season and how the players actually are in terms of fitness, match fitness, and just keeping themselves fit as well. You're going to pick up injuries, but it's how to manage that as well. And that's when it comes down to the squad that we have.
Aye, and how he's, like he says, how he's got to manage certain players either coming or going out the squad, Robert, I think, as well. Bridge, how does our manager get this round? I know you said if we win the league, there's probably got to be extra money there, but if there's no gone by previous seasons, we've always got a budget roughly sitting there about, I think it's about 12 to 14 usually we're allowed to spend. We have got a few players going out the door by the looks of it as well, so there might be a wee bit of manoeuvre there with wages wise. I don't honestly know where the manager kind of starts. Does he go all in for better attackers, or does he try and shore up the midfield and the defence? For me, I think probably we're looking as it stands now, we actually might have enough up front. It just might be that I says we need to try and spend the money better in the midfield and defence.
You know, like at the end of the day for this season, I think overall Rangers have had a rocky season, let's call it that. But under this manager, we've had a tremendous run and a wee bit slack now. And we're maybe finding our feet just at the tail end now. So for me, if we finish second in the league or even first in the league, wouldn't it be just a miracle for Rangers? This manager must get some witchcraft about him, because these players are not playing very well, and this manager's got us to where we are. We're within 3 points of the leaders, and we're a wee bit poorer, shall we say, goal difference. But all we need is a wee bit of luck for them to grab a couple of points here, and then we're going to all go for the big game at Celtic Park. But my problem, we brought people into the club, and I think maybe 2 of them were on a promise to buy. Is that correct? Somebody tell me.
Wait, what was what one, Bridge?
We were not promising to buy. They're not 2 players we promised to buy. So they're here on loan. But we're going to buy them.
Diamande is, I think Cortez is an option to buy, and Diamande's to buy. I don't know what the word is, but it's to buy.
Whatever monies we've agreed, that's so gone. We can't touch it, and that's going to be for next season's budget. You know what I mean? So I don't know how many players there were in that, and obviously we might never know. But I know there was at least 1, and I thought there was 2. But you might be right there. Maybe it was Cortez, and it was we can buy him if we want at the end of the season. But I doubt very much if he's going to do that. The manager's going to do that. However, I don't know. These are the things you've got to take into account. We look at the team. We look at the quality we've got. Who's going to leave? Is it true that Lundstrom and Borner's gone? They've signed for that other team, the Turkish team. Don't know. Still
rumours, Bridge, but it seems to be there's a lot of noise running about it. I think the Clement's made it clear that he still wants Lundstrom to be about, but I think Lundstrom's wanting the money more than the shirt. I think he's happy here, but he just wants the money to match it. And unfortunately, like you says, Bridge, I don't think we can I don't think we can roll that dice. I think we've got to. I think as even Southside's touched on, I think we've got to reinvest that money that coming into this next season and try and find legs, pace, power in that midfield.
Yeah. Well, we need people like Diamande, that quality of player, at least, because we know that would be an improvement on what we've got. Because some of our midfield just don't seem to be interested. And you're playing Cantwell, and unfortunately, you've not got anybody to compliment him. But I think Diamonde is a smashing player. That type of player will be, incredible. He's 6'1" or something like that, the boy. I think it's great to see guys like that in our team. So I'll pivot to Mr. Clemence. He's going to bring in more people from the continent, I would imagine. And I just hope he's obviously going to be frugal when he can. But if we hope we've not made any promises to sign players for 10 and 12 million pounds. I'm hearing that Sima was could have cost us 10 or 12 million pounds, but I don't know whether there was some other deal offered. But I don't see Brighton wanting him back. I don't know, but I don't see them wanting him back. But they might want Rangers to pay 10 million or whatever it is. I don't think he's worth that.
No,
so I haven't heard anything else unless anyone else has.
No, and there's no, Bridge, you're right. There's not been any talk about Sima. Like he's here on loan, and that's all it is. It's just a loan. There's no. I think Sima's made it clear that he's enjoying his time here and stuff like that. But there's no been any kind of paper talk. There's not been any rumours saying that it's got to be a deal that can be struck. I mean, by the sounds of it, like you says, Bridge, I think it's the case that he might just be well out of price range. And I think, to be fair to the manager, I think we've got we need the money elsewhere. I think we need the money to help the rest of the squad.
I agree with that 100%.
Port, I think you've got a wee update on something, mate.
Aye, I believe Rangers have submitted planning permission to Glasgow City Council, mate, to erect a statue in the memory of Walter Smith. Yeah, I'd like to touch on this tonight, mate. Obviously, the club commissioned the creation of the statue, and the first anniversary of his passing, and they hoped it would be in place in just under 2 years later. So the planning permission was submitted to the council with a decision expected by Friday, the 14th of June, and hopes it will be approved and Rangers can have it put in place. And that would be the second statue on the club's grounds, with John Gregg's Irish Disaster Memorial, also situated at the corner of the Copeland Road and Bill Struth main stands. In my opinion, mate, probably since Bill Struth, probably the best modern day manager that's been at the club. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, guys, in regards to the statue.
I'll take it, Rooney's. Well, for me, I think it's been a long time coming into Port. It's fantastic that we're honouring the man, and there's been talk of Clemence having bits and bobs as Walter with his no nonsense attitude and stuff like that. But like you say, Port, I don't think, for me personally, there'll be ever another manager that can galvanise a squad, build a squad on low quality and still win titles. I mean, you look back to that kind of time with Lafferty and Boyd and all that. I mean, it wasn't a great side, but it was a hard working side, and it still managed to get titles. So, I think we hard pushed to ever see a legend like that again.
Aye, a man that gave me and my Rangers supporting career some hell of a nights. Great nights, great Saturday afternoons, Sunday afternoons, a lot of trophies in his career at Rangers. A proper Ranger, a true gentleman. I had the pleasure of meeting him twice and having a decent chat with him. Just an absolute true Ranger, mate, and knew what it meant to be at the club and installed that into guys that maybe never really knew a lot about Rangers, but when they played under Walter Smith, mate, they knew what Rangers was all about. So he's a true Ranger, mate, never forgotten. And I'm glad that we're actually showing him the respect he deserves, mate, to our club. So my hat's off to the club as well. James Bisgrove for starting this ball rolling, mate.
Well said. Robert, your thoughts, mate?
I just echo everything Portbear said, mate. If you speak about Rangers men, Walter Smith's one of the first names that comes to mind. Obviously, a younger generation. For me, he's been the best manager I've seen at our club. He's a gentleman that grabbed your attention. When he walked into the room, you could see that he just had that presence. And I know there's been comparisons of the way Clement does that, and I think that's an honour to have. Even when you're past it, people are comparing themselves to you, and he's a Rangers legend. He's done a lot for the club, and as you say, he got his titles, trophies. Those days won't be forgotten. Those title-winning days, as you say, down in Kilmarnock in 7 minutes, it was party time, and the way he bowed out that way was tremendous from the club. So, absolute echo everything that Portbear said. It's a fantastic tribute by a club, and thoroughly deserved. An absolute Rangers legend.
Well said, mate. Bridgeman, that shall not be too far from the bistro, mate. So it'll be a thing of beauty for you to see every week.
Is it going to be beside John Gregg, or where is it going to be?
Between I think Copeland that's saying in Edmondson House, mate.
Going to be between that, or?
Somewhere then, I don't know exactly the
I would imagine
proper location, but
Edmondson
there.
House. I would imagine it would be outside Edmondson House.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree, and I think that Walter Smith, what can I say, when he first came to Ibrox under Souness, I didn't think he deserved. I mean, to be assistant manager to Graham Souness, I didn't think that. Nothing against him, and I know he was a Rangers fan. And I liked him, but I didn't think he deserved at this point to be assistant manager of Rangers. But my goodness, was I wrong? Within 6 months, I'd have slapped in the face of people. I mean, it was tremendous. And he went on and grew. And I thought when Souness was leaving, I thought he was going to take Walter with him. I dare say a lot of people did as well. James, when he was named as Rangers manager, oh my God, my heart leapt. A bit of continuity, and he's never looked back. I've never looked back thinking about him. I'm still sad to this day that he died. He took that illness. It was just really sad, And hopefully this will cheer everybody up when they see the statue of Walter. Absolutely.
And well said as well, Bridge. Right, we're getting to that last half hour of the show, so it's 0141 356 1972. It'd be great to hear your thoughts, and let us know if you've got any questions, put it in the socials and we'll try and pick them up as well and put them out in the show for these. Robert, you've got another point on manager issues.
Yeah, mate, it was announced today, the PFA Scotland Manager of the Year nominees, and I was quite surprised to see one. Definitely, but 2 names off that list, if I'm honest. There's no Philip Clement, and there's no Brendan Rodgers either, to be fair, so I was surprised at both of them. Obviously Clement more so, but the nominees were John McGlynn of Falkirk, Derek McInnes of Kilmarnock, and Tony Docherty of Dundee. I don't know about you boys, but I think that's the first in a long time that I've not seen either side of the Old Firm manager being named in the shortlist, but certainly given what Clement came into to what it is now, I'm really surprised that he's been overlooked.
Can I just say something on that? Maybe people will agree with me, maybe they won't. That Tony Docherty and McInnes have only been picked because they're taking points off Rangers. Nothing else, in my opinion, nothing else. They haven't done anything startling to me. What can I say?
I know, Bridge. So lasses will come back around you, but I'll give you time to think about it. Port, I get a wee bit of the Clement thing because he's came in halfway through a season, but he kept us in Europe. He's had some good runs and he's took Rangers to the point where there's a title challenge. I'm very surprised that he's not had a kind of nomination for that, especially coming in after Cold and taking out a disgruntled team.
I'm going to split hairs here, mate. I'm going to say, in regards to football, I don't think any, not so much Clement, but Rangers season as a whole. I think what Clement's done since he's come in has been nothing short of spectacular. To be out out the title race and having no hope to where he's got us. I get your sentiment, guys, I really do. But over a season, he's not been there for a full season, he's only been there for half the season, basically. So I'm going to say I think McInnes will win it. And I think it's because he's over the season, over the piece, he's done very well with a budget that they've got at Kilmarnock. And as I said, it's a Rangers programme, and I get that, but I can always speak the truth in what I think who deserves, a nomination or an award for over a period of a season. And I have to admit, I think Kilmarnock's they've done well. They've took points off Rangers, to points off Celtic, like Bridgeman says, and deservedly so, because they played us and they beat us fairly, and they beat them twice. So I get your sentiment, lads, but I have to speak the truth and say, I think when you talk about longevity and being there for a full season, I think the nominations are pretty fair.
Just before I go around the boys, do you know, think a wee trophy? He's won a trophy as well. Do you know? I think that should have been even in amongst the nominations as well. Come straight in, you win a trophy. I feel that's a bit shady, a wee bit.
I get it, mate. As I said, I totally agree with your sentiments, and I know he's won a trophy, but I don't know. I don't know how it's judged, but I would think it'd be judged on a season, And I think maybe this time they've overlooked the Old Firm and said, look, who really deserves this? Who's really been an overachiever? And if you think, Kilmarnock, you think about their budgets they're probably using and the players they've got at their disposal. Same with Dundee, punched above their weight a wee bit and done relatively well throughout their season. So that's what I think that it was nominated on.
Well, I think we've just seen there that it's nominated by your fellow managers. So I'm surprised Across the City hasn't had a nomination. But I'll go to Robert Port on it. Robert, I think Port makes a good point in the sense that it's over a season. You've got managers on lesser budgets, and to be fair, when you look at Kilmarnock, like I think, was it last season they were fighting relegation, or was it last season they came up? I can't remember. With McInnes, but where he's took them to, they're pushing there for the fourth position, I think it is now. So for McInnes, just purely because he's history and his links to us, then I would probably give him the nod. But the rest of them, I got to wonder what they get nominated for.
Aye, it's a strange one. John McGlynn won a Falkirk. He's won League One quite comfortably. So whether they feel they've got to put somebody in from the lower divisions, then fair enough. But I get the kind of Dundee, Kilmarnock type budgets, top six finishes. But if you want to speak about nominations, as much again as Pope says, it's a Rangers show, but you maybe not like the person. Stephen Naismith isn't in there, and again that's another one I'm surprised at, because third with Hearts, was in Europe, Cup semi-finals. He's not mentioned in there, but we've got somebody who's sixth with Dundee. They've took points off the Old Firm. Is that what it's awarded on? Just, you've got a good team set up against the Old Firm, you deserve it. It's a bit of an award that when your manager's not selected, you wonder and you scratch your head, what are the other managers maybe seeing? And is it in terms of how they see them against their own team and not others? So I can understand it. Obviously, Portbear says the longevity. Clement's only come in a short time compared to the rest of the guys. But if you talk about impact, like you say, GB, winning a cup, taking a team that was out of a title race as such to where they're now qualifying for Europe again, that to me is a bigger impact than over a season getting into top six with a Dundee or Kilmarnock.
Aye, Robert, and like I say, some of these injuries he's had to deal with. There's no many. I don't think there's been many squads that have had what we've had. So, it's a bit of an eyebrow raiser bridge. But I think is it Bridge? Is it a sad indictment maybe the Old Firm this season? Because when you look at the two Old Firms, the amount of games that they've lost, the standard they play for both squads, I think, has been poor. The poorest I've probably seen it in years, to be honest. It just might be that, let's say, they don't think that the Old Firm's up there this year.
if their manager, if Clement had come over to Scotland and was managing any other team and did what he's done with Rangers, there'd been absolutely no problem at all. Every single manager would have voted for him. You see, this is what he's done. He's been fantastic. He's won a cup. He's in the finals of another cup, and he's second in the league. Possibly got a chance to win the league. So if it turns out that Rangers manager wins a treble this season, what has that got to say about the manager of the year? He's only been here 6 months, if you follow what I mean, and he wins a treble. What? Why? Where are you getting these votes from? There's only one place they're getting the votes from me. The only one place. Anti-Rangers, nothing else. No voting for Rangers, finished.
Fantastic point, Bridge. We'll take it to Port. Bridgeman makes an excellent point. Why are we doing these awards at this time of the season? Why are we not leaving it to the end of the season? You know what I mean?
That's a better question.
It's like Bridge says, Clement could win a treble. He could be sitting there saying that he's built a squad for nothing, in the sense that he's had injuries ravaged, and he's like I says, he's took Rangers to the knockout stages, you know what I mean, Europe. So I says it's a bit damning, isn't it, that you get the trophies the now while there's still games to be played.
It's going to be that'd be a very, very, very embarrassing moment, mate, for the people who do these awards, the SFA. If Philip Clement goes on and lifts a treble after they've decided who is, effectively the manager of the year, that could be quite embarrassing for the organisers of this award ceremony, mate, because I don't understand why it's so early in the season with 5 games to go. What's the harm in waiting on for another 5 weeks to see how the season transpires? I get it, boys, I really get it. But like I says, I'm a footballing person, and I sometimes just like to look at the big picture. And I do personally think what Kilmarnock, in particular Kilmarnock, not so much Dundee, but Kilmarnock, what they've done this season under McInnes has been excellent. And like you touched on, GB, Rangers and Celtic have been really poor this year. They've done a lot of points, a lot of teams that's not expected. So I think there's they've got the awards because how well it is in the season. I think that's helped them, definitely. Maybe if the season ends different and Rangers go into after table, then what we always saying, they should have waited for the awards because it will look very, very stupid, mate, if Clement does get a treble at the end of the season and Derek McInnes or the other boy at Dundee gets played a manager of the year. It'd be quite embarrassing, mate.
You get manager of the year for. You get the manager of the year for finishing. You get manager of the year for finishing 4th. You know what I mean?
That's what you know what? Look at that. This is Scotland. This is Scottish football. What team deserve? Most of the teams in the country go wait or dislike those, and that's Rangers. 100% is Rangers. 100%. And what do they do? Okay, the boys of Falkirk maybe. Maybe deserve it for what he's done in the game, right? And what he's done with Falkirk. But for God's sake, we're speaking about potential. As a manager sitting there potential to win a treble, and nobody's willing to say, he's done well. He's came across here. He's not even been in the league. He won't have been in the league 9 months, maybe 6 months to 8 months, and he's won the league. If he gets the treble. And he wins a treble. But my God, look at the team he had. Look at the injuries he's gone through. Now, they're going to say that. They're going to say that. It doesn't matter. Some of the Rangers, we don't care about them. And that's the truth.
Robert, you want to come in on it, mate?
I'm just sitting here wondering if we'd beat Ross County and Dundee, sitting top of the table, do you think they'd have been in it then?
I think they should have been in it then.
Do you know something? See if he was sitting 5 points clear. See if he probably beat Celtic. See if he beat Celtic and we're sitting 5 points clear. I think there would maybe been a nomination at least. But I don't know. I think like Port says, if they're going on, if this is the time that they're off voting for it and stuff like that, and they're going on a full season, then they're probably taking into consideration squad budgets and how consistent has a certain team been compared to the previous season. You know what I mean? And we're probably looking at for Kamar going for, what is it, Championship to the SPFL. You know what I mean? It's maybe down to that, but it's still, like Port says, it's very embarrassing if it gets to the end of the season and come out sitting with a treble, and it especially came in and had to take care of a squad that was in free fall, basically, Robert.
That's exactly it, mate. And I'm not saying that I'm surprised that he's not there to win it. I'm saying he's surprised that he's not at least nominated because of the change in fortune that we've had. And as Port Blair says, we were out of title race. We were 11 points behind, and then we were right in amongst it again. And that was whilst competing with Europe. So for me, I get the whole longevity. I can't understand that you would overlook the impact that a manager has who had no knowledge of Scottish football. People are saying you need to have a Scottish manager, you need Rangers men and whatever. A guy came in from out the blue, came into a club that was just disjointed. There was a lack of harmony between players and fans. It was getting toxic at times. And he changed that dramatically. And the results were there, performances were there. Yes, we've had stumbles along the way, but I don't understand that there's no nomination. But again, as you say, he gets a treble, and I'm sure that is a bigger award for him than a Manager of the Year award against whoever it is, Falkirk, Dundee, Kilmarnock. He'll take a treble, I'm sure, over a managerial award. He always says it's a team effort.
Bridge, at least we've got a 50% chance in the Players Player of the Year award with Butland and Tav being nominated, and rightly so. It's been that kind of way that I think Butland's been fantastic, and Tav again, the kind of highest scoring defender. Would I be surprised if neither the two of them get it? Nah, not really.
I would have to tell you. Oh, sorry, I thought you were finished.
No, no, carry on, mate, carry on.
No, carry on. You please finish off.
No, I'm saying it wouldn't surprise me because they like say it's Butland's a goalkeeper and Tav's a defender, because if you look at the other two nominations, it's more an attacking midfielder and a goal scoring Scotsman, maybe for a team that's lesser than the Old Firm.
Can you remind me who the other guys are?
It's O'Reilly and Shankland.
Oh, that was a surprise. O'Reilly, the great saviour, and of course Shankland, who done nothing against us all season. O'Reilly never did anything against us except dink the ball over a goalkeeper for a penalty.
God, Bridge.
You think what they're doing, and I'm telling you now, O'Reilly will walk it. 100% now. He'll walk it. Their two players will not get a mention. Done. That's what will happen. O'Reilly will walk it.
You're going to get scale from your backside, Bridge, man.
I'm not sitting in any fence, I can assure you. Our players won't win it if that's the two. Because Shankland's a god in the league, other than the Old Firm. He's the god. He's the best player in the league. We should have went there and spent 5-10 million on him. That's what we were told. Go and get him. Some of our own supporters thought that too. We should have spent money on Shankland. He might have got the goals that we haven't got. It may have made a difference to the league. I don't know if it would have or not. I don't know. But seriously, if Shankland's going to be player of the season, goal scorer of the season, aye, because he's way ahead. But no player of the season. Sorry.
That's a good point, Bridge. That's a good point, because, like you say, it's about the whole thing, isn't it? It's a whole package. It's not for just scoring goals. I mean, at the end of the day, if somebody's, to be fair, like a lot of folks say about Tav, he gets the penalties and stuff like that, but he's got to put them away. But apart from that, Tav again, he's putting in crosses. He's got a lot of assists and stuff like that. Butland again, big games, been in Europe, putting in big saves. He's caught the eye of the England manager. I mean, there's a lot going for him and all, but I can't see him getting it. But like you say, Shankland, what else has he really done apart from score goals this season? Granted, I'm not a Hearts fan. I've been watching every game that he plays, but the games I do see him playing, he's a poacher. He's a poaching port, isn't he?
That's exactly what it is, mate. He's a fox in the box. He played in between the posts and he gets his goals fair. Like I touched on the last show I was on, I've got my preference of strikers I'd like to buy if they were in Scotland. I'd prefer the guy Miofsky at Aberdeen. I just think, like I said earlier on in this show, mate, I think we need a player with pace, power, aerial ability, and Miofsky's got that, whereas I don't think Shankland's got pace at all. I think he's an absolute goal machine. I do agree with that, but he's also 28, I think he is, and Miofsky's 24. So Miofsky's got selling power as well, and if he continues to, thrive the way he is in Scotland, and then gets into a team like Rangers surrounded by better players who'll create double the chances, I think he's got 14 goals in a row. He'll get 20 plus, Miofsky at Rangers, and I just think, as I said, he offers a lot more going in behind. It's an aerial ability as well than Shankland does. So my preference would be Miofsky. In regards to player of the year, I'm going to nail my colours to the mast, mate. I'm going to say Jack Butland's going to win it, hands down.
Nice, mate. I'm going to see if old school Blue's still awake, and I'm going to get him to do some work there now, and he'll no thank me for it. But you've actually given me a good wee point to put out in the socials, mate. Right, so I want him to put a poll up for your choice, either Dessers, Shankland, or was it Miofsky?
Miofsky, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Right, let's put it out there on the socials. Who would you want to see as the Rangers number 9 out of the 3? So make your choice, and Port, I'm going to put you in the spot since you picked Miofsky there. If you next season, if you had the choice, who's up front for you?
I'll need to stick with my guy, mate, Miofsky, number 9.
Right, okay. Robert, you want to come in this one, mate?
That's a tough one, mate. I'll go CD9, but I like the boy Miofsky, and the fact that Aberdeen finished in the bottom 6, I would be looking at them as a bit of a chance to get a deal there.
Bridgeman, if you had the choice out the 3, who would you pick for next season, mate?
Are you speaking about should we go and buy them? Or are you speaking about just
I know
forget price?
I
Who do you like?
I know you don't like the Scottish League, but if there were free transfers tomorrow, pick a striker.
The one I would pick would be Miofsky. He looks the part. He's played very, very well against us a number of times and scored goals. So he's scored full goals against a lot of teams, and I think he'd be a great fit for Rangers, in my opinion. I don't know if Dessers is going to stay at Rangers, but if you went and bought, for instance, if you went and got Miofsky in a free transfer now, then I think he's going to be a number 9, and that's all there is to it. And he's caused a lot of problems for a lot of teams, that guy. Good player.
I'm going to be kind of controversial, and I think, I'm going to stick with Robert. I think I'm going to go with Dessers out the two of them. And it's purely because I think the big man's all-round game, he's horrendous sometimes with missing sitters and stuff like that, but somebody that can, finish against Betis and stuff like that, and he's got the kind of bits of trickery in him, I think he's the better choice out the 3. Miofsky's probably the one that's got the more sell-on value, I would say. But I think if you had no other strikers, I think I'd rather go with Big Dessers, because he seems to be one of these ones that if you put a chance on a plate for him, he'll finish it. That's what I think. But it's got to be interesting. Like I says, the transfer. Like I says, as you said earlier, the transfer budget's going to be vital this season. It's going to be how much Clement can actually get out the door and how much he's allowed to bring in the door. Our previous manager said they wanted to downsize the squad, but then when Clement came in, he said that the squad was too small. It was too saturated with too many players the same position and stuff like that. So he's got, no matter who they win the league, he's got some job on his hands to try and, ship people out, bring talent in. I mean, and it's a headache for him, Port.
Indeed, mate. Our squad is heavy. Our squad is definitely heavy, and it is very heavy in certain positions, like as we know. I think the manager's going to have some job in his hand this summer, mate, trying to, get players in and also get players out the door, because I think both have to happen. I think it's time I think Philip Clement will want his own generals in his dressing room. So guys that have got his back 100%, guys that we know have a big influence in your dressing room. Your captains, if you like, of our dressing room, like Lundstrom and Goldson and Tav. We've seen these very strong characters in your dressing room, get their teammates on their side to effectively get managers removed for their jobs, mate, down in tools, etc. It's been well spoken about on here. And I think Philip Clement would like guys of his own, his own knowledge of maybe other Belgian players, I don't know, but players that certainly played under him before. So he's got his own guys in the dressing room of what's currently already there. But we have to, and it's no secret, we have to get that wage bill down, and we have to get the squad size down and make sure you're bringing in the same quality as you're letting go, mate, because there's no point in letting guys out the door if we're not bringing in the same or better quality. We're looking for better quality, obviously, but at the very least, we have to be bringing in the same quality, because we can't go backwards anymore. We can't go backwards. This team has to start to grow and has to start to develop in all aspects of playing, sales, development, etc. for our B team or youth squad as well. So that all these things have to work, mate.
Well said, mate. Robert, do you think the character of the manager coming in on the... If you can just go on mute, boys, there's a wee bit of background noise. Robert, the manager coming in, he would have probably knew about the January transfer window that there was no money there. And he's obviously made that public, that there was no money there. He had to dip into the summer transfer budget. Is there a bit of a worry there that there's not going to be the money there needed? Or do you think the manager's been giving reassurances that, don't worry, come the summer, the amount of people that's leaving, we've got things in place to help build a squad for you?
I think it's a bit of both. I think there'll be reassurance that there will be funds available and extra will become available once players leave. I mean, you've got Barisic, Lundstrom, if he doesn't sign a contract, Roof, McLaughlin, Jack. They're probably all on hefty wages. So you get that wage bill down and those funds can be added to your transfer budget. And that could be the difference of one signing or two for a key position. So I think there will be reassurances that there will be funds there and that there will be additional funds available. Obviously, if we win the league and the Scottish Cup, there'll be more funds there, and obviously the big one's the league. So if we get all three titles and we get the money in, then certainly we can spend more and we can recruit players. But as Portbear says earlier, it's about doing it wisely in the right market as well. So I've got a wee question for you, and we've spoke a lot on this show tonight as well about the lack of creativity and the defence. What is the first key area or position that we need to focus on in the summer, or that he needs to focus on?
All right, for me, I'll go first and then I'll take it around the boys. I think that right side of midfield needs sorted. We need somebody the equivalent to Seamus Quality on that right side to help our striker. The left probably will take care of itself, but the right side's been a thing that's been going on since even Kishinya days. I mean, I think we need to get that right side sorted out. We need somebody that's going to score goals for that side. Bridgeman?
Yeah, I have to agree. We need somebody on the right. I think there's a different reason for that at the present moment. If we're going to retain the sort of goal prowess of Tavernier, and Tavernier needs cover, and you want somebody to do the similar job to them. Mind the wee guy, the Portuguese boy, what was his name again?
Candias.
So Candias, I think he had a fantastic rapport with Tavernier and understood what the club was trying to do and the way they were playing. And I thought Candias really did well and covered a lot of ground for Tav. And he was very fast. He was a really good fast player. And that's the type of player we want there. They can look after the up front, or if need be, he can cover Tav and let Tav go past him. And once Tav's past him, he just stays back and watches a gap there. we need cover. We need cover, particularly on the right, for Tav. If we want the best out of Tav, and look, if we could get any better out of Tav, it'd be the best goal scorer ever as a fullback. If he's not that at the present moment, you know what I mean? Just amazing stuff. His athletic prowess and all that. Mm-hmm. But if you're asking Tav to defend 100% of his game, then you're wasting your time because you can't do it. We've seen the mess he gets himself into at times,
So you're going for the right side then, Bridge?
I would agree that someone on the right side would be a tremendous asset.
Okay. Port, mate, were you looking?
I've got to go for my own position, mate. I've got to go for a central midfielder. I want a central midfielder who dictates games, controls the tempo we play at, gets a game by the scruff of the neck. A real midfield general, mate. Box-to-box player. Barry Ferguson, Steve Davis, that sort of ilk, mate. Guys that can control a midfield. I think we're, as you said earlier on, far too heavy reliant on, our forwards and wingers to score. We always had midfielders that could score 10 a season at least. And I think we need to get that again. So a central midfielder, mate, of real power for me.
Robert, what's your choice, mate?
I agree with Port Bear. For me, it's in the engine room, midfield. The type of player, I'm not sure if it's the enforcer we need or a kind of box-to-box, a guy that can defend but can also chip in with the goals. We've had players try and do that over the years, but we've not really had a kind of mainstay. So for me, somebody in that engine room, it could be Diamondi. Obviously, he looks a real player. And if you're playing him along with Sterling, you've got a good balance there. You've got an athletic, tall, young player, and you've got Sterling, who is just a powerhouse and can play anywhere. So for me, that strikes a good balance, and that would be a good start. But certainly another addition in there would likely be the area I look at as well. And it seems to be the area that always gets more affected with injuries, even more than the wings at times.
Mm-hmm. Aye, Paul, I think just quickly, because we've got about 3 minutes left of the show, I think it's going to be that way. It's going to be horses for courses. The manager will be looking at his budget, and the defence at times this season has been written as the best defence in the league because of how long we've went with clean sheets and stuff like that. So maybe the manager's going to just have to look at what he needs to fix, and it's maybe the lack of goals.
Aye, I definitely get that, mate. But like I was touching on, the midfielder that I'm suggesting has got to be an all-rounder. He's got to be that guy, as I said, that gets his foot on the ball, creates and scores. I think, like Robert touched on, we've got Diamandi here who could play as a 6 or an 8, and we've got Sterling here who could play definitely as a 6. And this is me presuming that John Lundstrom's going to leave, by the way, right? So, but we've not got that guy that, that will a ball carrier, that will go beyond the striker, run from deep midfield, run beyond the striker and score a goal or smash one in for 30 yards. We've not got that type, and that type would help the forward line. So even if you the current forward line that we've got, GB, and add a midfielder like that's going to create your chances and chip in with his goal tally, then that to me is more beneficial in an all-round team than, again, try to concentrate and try to get more strikers in the door or more wingers in the door. We've got enough.
Well said, mate. Well said. Right, we're getting to that time of the night, boys. Robert, your final thoughts, please, mate.
Great show, mate. Good being on yourself, Port, Bridge. Good night listening to yourselves. Interesting couple of weeks ahead. Obviously, a big game coming up on Sunday. So let's get behind the team and get the 3 points on the board again.
Well said, mate. Port Bear, your final thoughts, mate.
Aye, thanks for having us on, mate. Robert, Bridge, superb night again, lads. Apologies, Gary, for my lateness, my attendance. It was shocking, right? My timekeeping.
Brad cared.
So apologies, mate. Apologies, but great.
It's all right. We've got VAR looking into it, mate. You'll be all right.
I'll definitely be all right if they're looking at it.
Aye. I know, brilliant, mate. Good to have you on. Bridgeman, your final thoughts, mate.
Well, we're going to say again, as I was saying, a fantastic night. Really enjoyed the discussions, and I got to air grievances. In other words, bring the tone of the show down. No, seriously, really enjoyed the night. Fantastic being with Port Bear, yourself, and young Robert, and of course the boys in the background there, the techie boys. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, this is the Rangers Radio, and we are the people. So everybody that likes the Rangers, get in here. Start phoning in here because we really need people to phone us in. So please, everybody, keep it going for the Rangers. The Rangers really need us, and so do they. Keep it going.
Oh, well said, Bridge. And hopefully the listeners enjoyed it and just were a bit shy and phoning in tonight. But big thanks to the panellists tonight, Port Bear, Robert and Bridgeman. Quickly, I think the poll came back as Miofsky is the winner at 69%, Shanklin 19%, and poor Dessers doing at 13%. So me and Robert don't have a clue where they looks at. But big thanks to the panellists tonight. Great points and kept the show going. Cheers, boys. And big thanks to the techie team, Old School Blue and Fox in the background there. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night with the other young team. Have a great night. Good night.